So hello everyone and welcome to the World of Optometry webinar. You are all very welcome wherever you are joining us from today. My name is Laura Ajab from Lebanon and I will be hosting, facilitating and moderating today's webinar. I'm joined by Mr. Loken Butler from UK who will be assisting me in today's presentation. Before we get started, it's important that we cover some general rules. Please have your cameras off and mics off. This is just to eliminate any background noise which can cause feedback and noise disturbance to the speaker and other attendees. Please rename your electronic device with the name that you registered with. This is the name that you will receive on your certificate of attendance. If your name on the device does not match the name that you registered for the webinar with, you will not get your accreditation. Please post your questions into the chat box feature. You can do this at any time during the presentation, and they will be answered at the end by the guest speaker. Please address your questions to everybody option. Loken will be able to assist you with any technical difficulties. So if you are experiencing any issues with sound or picture, please let us know in the question chat box. Loken may contact you to rename your electronic device during the presentation. If you have any queries about getting your certificate of attendance and this process, Loken will answer your queries. To receive your certificate of attendance, you will be required to stay for the duration of the webinar, after which we will send you a sample review form to fill out via email. Today's presentation will last about between 35 to 45 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. I'm delighted to present our guest speaker today, who is Dr. Maria Sampalis from USA. She's graduated from NECO in 2007. She's the founder of Corporate Optometry. She's also a global KOL in the eye care industry and founder of many popular websites. Today's topic is about building a brand with digital media. Without any further delay, I will pass you over to the speaker for the commencement of this session.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm going to share my screen here, make sure you all can see it. Okay, can you see my screen or? All right, so today we're going to talk about building a brand on digital media. I've done that over the years. I have a large following, and but also to help you grow your business as well. I know a lot of you have your own practices, but also building a personal brand as well, which is important. So these are my disclosures. So what is a personal brand? So when we talk about personal branding, we're referring to establishing and promoting what you stand for. Your personal brand is a unique combination of your skills, experience, what make you you. Effective branding will differentiate you from other professionals in the industry. It's really about what people feel about you, what your reputation's about. So that's very important when you get out of school to kind of really develop your personal brand for employers or buying a practice or working with a company. So why does it matter? According to Career Builder, average person now switches jobs every 2 to 3 years, and 40% of the workplace is freelance. And I know a lot of optometrists are doing like fill-in work or being independent contractors, kind of working in a private sector, filling in a corporate sector. So that's very important too. And people get to know you, and they'll make recommendations about you if you know, someone needs fill-in work or needs someone to work for them. People are also Googling you, right? So that's also important too. People are looking at you online, on social media, and you want to make sure that you know, your personal brand is pretty clean online as well, and how you portray yourself online. So personal brand can help you take you to the next step, right? Your strong personal brand can help with interviews, job placements, like we talked about, promotions, and you know, partnerships, speaking engagements, if that's what you want to do in the industry. It can really take you to the next level in what you want to do in your career. It can also help you get that job that you've always dreamed about. A lot of the great jobs out there that I find are never really posted. They're really just introduced. You get a phone call saying, hey, we have an opening. Are you interested? And kind of getting your brand out there or being involved with the optometry associations and kind of promoting yourself on social media for what you're looking for or looking to do is very important. So how do you optimize it? So what I've done is I've used different factors to really grow it, right? So, Facebook has been great and instrumental for me, and LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool to connect with other like-minded optometrists all over the world. Just promoting content that you write, doing videos on YouTube. A lot of doctors have done a lot of educational videos and promoted it within their social media channels as well, and Twitter. And they've done that and they've grown that. Some doctors have their own website with their practice and then write articles for SEO for their practice and really promoted it to other doctors and getting people's attention to say, hey, this doctor's really interested in dry eye. This doctor's really interested in myopia management. They keep writing about it. Let me go talk to this doctor. Let's see what this doctor's doing. Sometimes companies will see that and send representatives to your practice to talk to you and see if you're interested in speaking or writing for them and things like that. So that's pretty important too. Or even so, if you're writing a lot about or you're really passionate about myopia management, maybe a doctor might see this and say, hey, I want to expand my practice. I don't have time to do this right now, but let me hire someone that's really passionate about to grow my practice as well. So kind of how to get started with personal branding. Headshot, you want to have a professional headshot. You want to use the right platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, if you want to have a professional one. So I've done it with LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, and you want to keep it private if it's more for friends and things like that, but if for professional, you can open it up. And then you choose a platform, what you want to present on there. And then again, good content. So articles, informational, news updates, any videos that you might have on your opinion on a device or how a patient case history, things like that. Those are all good. Optometrists, other optometrists are going to look at that. You're going to engage optometrists. It's going to get more views on your profile. Those are all things that are important. So, when you write and post content, your patients will read it too if it's on your website. But you want to make sure that you don't post all the information on your website too, to kind of get people to ask questions, to get people to visit your website, visit your profile. It's kind of like just grabbing their attention. You have 30 seconds to grab their attention and just get them into another website or get them to contact you. So you have to kind of figure that out. And it's a constant creative process. So how can you use this content for brand strategy? So, you have your brand strategy and what you want to execute. You use that as a tool to communicate about your brand to other doctors or to customers, okay? And then the brand strategy is the blueprint that lays out how you want to build your brand and what it outlines your purpose and to communicate. And it kind of keeps going in that circle. And it's a constant, it never really stops. It's this constant circle. And you're kind of building, and the content that you create kind of reinforces your brand and back and forth. So that's very important as well. A lot of people think they can just post comments and things like that. It's really doing a lot of the legwork with content. Content is super powerful in building your brand. So why is social media so important? Okay, I think everybody knows social media is everywhere, right? It's about 2.2 billion active users on social media. And that's a lot, and that's just going to grow exponentially, right? Everyone's using different platforms and what they want, age groups or what's appropriate for that. Even TikTok now is coming out huge. A lot of people are using it. It's just getting bigger and more important. And a lot of people getting their information, even during COVID, a lot of people getting their information about closing practices and things like that. It's where they can get instant information, and doctors can also ask other doctors about other things or case histories and things like that. So it's very powerful. I mean, we all know that, right? It's mainstream. It's become more mainstream. Everyone's using it. People pick up their phone, they check a notification. It's used by a lot of brands to get brand recognition or their message out there. It's become one of the most powerful channels, and it's a strong connectiveness where Facebook groups now are being advertised all over TV, and where people come together that share a common interest, can ask people questions. So it's becoming very, very powerful in that, and it's a great way to build your brand. So here, this is some data from 2017 that I liked. Obviously, it's really grown, but you can see here every minute on how fast, how many millions of emails or downloads or accounts are opened. This is just going to grow. So just this data yourself should say, hey, well, what I want to do is I want to build my practice. I need to have a Facebook account. I need to have a website. I need to do something on Google. I need something on YouTube. If this should just be like the point that, like, hey, I really got to do this. I really got to use this social media to my benefit. So what it can do, so you really need to understand your target audience, right? When I started my Facebook group, Corporate Optometry, my was just to focus on optometrists, right? So I was building that platform. I wasn't looking for, the customer or something like that out there. It was really focused on optometrists. So my goal was, how can I build this and focus on this target? And so I need to figure out what their needs were and what they were looking for, and found this niche in optometry that a lot of doctors weren't doing, and kind of build it from there. There was a need in the industry for it, where optometrists would have questions and information, and they kind of on their own little island. And they had that community now to really build it, to ask questions, and word of mouth really built that network for me. And we'll go through that as well. But it also, social media also is for good brand recognition, opportunities. So you can share your news, content, and also brand loyalty. So that's important too, because you're also getting out there to everyone in daily life. People trust you for recommendations, and really increasing leads to your practice or to your brand. So here's the power of brand here. We'll go through quickly. So you can just see here, I mean, here in the US, Starbucks, just the brand, people are willing to pay more because of what they know and what they think the public persona is, and the value that they're getting. So just that. So when you're trying to compare yourself to, an online competitor that is, trying to be the lowest price, you have to kind of create your brand on value and what you're presenting in your practice, and what you offer in your practice. So that patients know that if they're getting a value, they're paying more, but they have some value. Here is the network that I built. And these slides are a little older. The Corporate Optometry brand on Facebook, and you all are welcome to join, has grown. It's grown to about 30,000 members, and this has been the last 5 years. And this is a Facebook group. And I really built this really on brand and reputation. And over the years, really expanded it to do a lot more. Facebook pages, which are a little different than the groups, to kind of get content out there also for analytics and things like that. And then to develop content, Corporate Insider, within the websites, 2 websites that I put forward. And these websites really were to get doctors engaged, to capture emails, to give them resources that weren't out there, but also to kind of expand the network beyond just Facebook onto Google. So now when you're Googling, people are finding you from Google as well if they're looking for certain keywords within that sector, and just really have expanded out that. And it's just been tremendous success over the years, but it's been a lot of work because it's been a lot of content development that has gone into this because of it. And then, podcasts are pretty important. Done that, interviewed doctors throughout the country and throughout the world on just their experiences and things like that. So when you do it, you want to be consistent. So what I've done is I've posted regularly. I provided valuable content, promoted engagement with, my potential doctors as well to kind of join, kind of make them fans with themes, right? You know, funny content, serious content, clinical content. Each doctor that I would try to engage in the group, one doctor might be more on a political basis, one might like content, might just funny stuff, be silly. So I've tried to do that to have a constant, theme throughout the week. So sometimes I would try to go by this, schedule. That'd be tip of the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, a podcast or an article, Wednesdays, Thursdays, like a conversation to kind of get group engagement. And, Friday funnies to, just make it light for a Friday and keep people engaged in the group. So this is kind of like what I did with tip of the week. On Mondays, I would, write something for business article or something like that, information, and post in the group and give some tidbit of information. So doctors would find this group valuable, that has good resources. So that would be there. And this would basically go on the page and then go into the group, because this content was also to kind of promote this brand for consulting. So if people had questions, they could contact this brand here for more information or other resources that they would need. The other thing was it created was the content was, Corporate OD Insider really did a lot of articles on this. A lot of them got pretty good views. They're still getting viewed now within the network or on Google, but created a hashtag for that because hashtags are important for really, I find a huge one for Instagram where people can find you and follow it. But also to kind of create your own hashtag to really brand it. So this has been pretty good. And common topics that were written were questions that doctors kept asking in the group. So instead of just kind of re-going through the questions or comments all the time, they have a resource. So if they could repost it, I said, hey, go look at this website. Here are your answers. Here's what you do. And, here, and then you can look at this. So it takes people to the website. The website gets more views, but also kind of reinverts back to consulting to kind of grow that as well if people wanted more information. Just engaging content just to make fun, right? Social media is supposed to be fun. So kind of a post like this to really get people engaged and things. Facebook likes to have people comment and share stuff, gets more people, more suggestions to your brand. So something like this was created to just really, set the green, the red flags up to Facebook saying, hey, this group's getting a lot of interaction. Let's recommend other optometrists or like-minded people to join. Yeah, and then something like this too, just different content stuff. It gets pretty good views. This was on the Corporate Optometry Careers website. And I knew this one was going to get a lot of views, so I did promote the group here. So I did get a lot of shares, so people were also knew about the group to kind of get in. So again, it's that cycle of just what is your main target? What are you looking to do? And this one too, same thing, Friday funnies. So a lot of doctors will think of marketing as an expense on their practice. They say, hey, I spent X amount of dollars. I only got 2 patients. I think you need to have a bigger view on marketing and what you think about it. It's really an investment. Even if you just get your name out there, it's building your brand. And it's long-term, prosperity for your own personal brand or your own business. So you want to do something different and get different results, right? If everyone's doing one thing, you kind of want to go in the other sector and kind of see where there's not a lot of competition. I always say like the blue ocean strategy, right? Everyone's here competing, and it's really hard. It's undercutting prices. You kind of find this niche here to really grow. And that's what kind of I did with corporate optometry. Not a lot of people were doing it, and found a niche and kind of really did that. And another example here in the US is like Warby Parker. A lot of people weren't doing online stuff or weren't doing their own brands and things like that. And that's really expanded. So And the other thing that's been very important for me in my private practice has been Google. It's one of the second largest search engines. And people think, hey, the largest is Google. That's the second largest. A lot of people are surprised to hear that. One of the largest is actually YouTube, but a lot of doctors don't utilize it to build their brand. And it can be very easy with, 2-minute videos on certain topics. But it has right now about 1 billion monthly users. I mean, the younger generation is using it. 100 hours of video uploaded. It's increased about 50% a year. It's going to grow even more. It's the largest search engine out there. So if you can figure out a way to utilize it for your practice, patients will look for information there. And there's an optometrist out here that has really grown it and done information, and has, I think, about almost 450,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel. And he does a great job just educating the public about optometry and what we do, and common things. So digital marketing is not just Facebook. It's not just, so it's a lot of different things, right? Again, it's Google, it's social media, it's advertising, it could be landing pages, search engine optimization, blogging, YouTube, a lot of different things out there. So you kind of have to bring everything all together. There's not one magic formula. It's a lot of things brought together. So some things for an optometrist that have their own practice to kind of really build their brand. Search engine optimization is important for your website, and your name should be the first to pop up in the field in the area. So here in Cranston, Rhode Island, I want the customers or patients looking for a doctor. I say, hey, doctor in Cranston, Rhode Island. If that's your keyword, you want that in your blogs, you want that on your website. As Google crawls through your website to kind of search for what people are searching for. And you kind of want to think outside the box. You want to not think like an optometrist, you want to think like the patient would think and when they're searching. So what is the patient searching for on these keywords? What I found is a lot are saying, hey, optometrist near me, or optometrist that takes, Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, something like that. So you want to think of that. And some of the easiest ways to do so is just asking the new patients, how did you find us? Hey, a lot of them will say, I just searched on Google, doctor near me. And that's important. So it's kind of just asking your patients and not have to do all the hard work most of the times. So there is a formula for growing your audience. Again, search engine optimization is important, but again, huge thing is content. If you're not putting in the content, the search engine is not going to find you. So you have to kind of figure out, is this going to be on a 2-week basis, a monthly basis? And the higher competition you have, the more you have to do to really get the signals up at Google that, let's direct people to this website, or let's move up on the search engine optimization. So when you do that, you have higher authority on Google standings, better search rankings, and best ways for patients to find you. Another great way to move it up is reviews. That should be one of the main things that a lot of doctors should do, is start to grow their online reviews. 49% of customers always check online reviews. I'm sure you all check online reviews when you check out a new restaurant, stuff like that. Why would they not check your office as well? And it's a new word of mouth referrals. It builds credibility for your practice, and it builds your reputation, and is a great way to broaden your digital footprint, because it also moves you up on Google, on Facebook, and things like that, and the search engines. So that's very important. And it creates influence in your network, right? In your community, gains trust, and patients want to see you. So because they've had good reviews. You have a lot of patients who say, hey, how did you hear about me? Oh, you see my mother. My mother's very happy with you. The same thing now with online reviews. So you want to make sure that you really build this presence here. Google ranking here. So here was a Google ranking for me, optometrist here. I don't know if you can see here, this one here, when I did this one, it didn't match when I had my old name here, Dr. Maria Sampalis. Now it's Sampalis Eye Care. So you have to make sure it's consistent name on both parts. When I saw this, I said, okay, I need to fix this here. So I did that, and now it's up higher. So here's how my look reviews here. This is older image. But yeah, you get positive and negative reviews, either or, but you also want to respond to them too. So if you respond, that kind of moves you up. It gives you, you're interacting with your customers. Google likes that. You want to make sure you're on Google thing as well. So then on your Facebook page, same thing as well. That also helps with your Google rankings. Some things that I've done to really build my practice brand has been Google Ads, and the return on revenue is tremendous with Google, right? And it's pay-per-click advertising. You kind of put in your keywords and what you think your potential customers are looking for, or what you're trying to build. I just recently started the Dry Eye Center of Rhode Island, have a new website, and I'm getting patients that are specifically looking for that to build it, right? Instead of me competing with trying to, sell a pair of glasses that everyone else is doing, let me try to get these patients in that nobody else is doing here in Rhode Island with dry eye. And then I could also, introduce them to other contact lens options, glasses, things like that. So Google Ads has been a great way to do that with a new thing in my practice. So here you can see an ad for lens crafters. One of the great things, little trick here with Google, is one of the keywords can be lens crafters. And if patients are looking for lens crafters, but maybe needs an appointment tomorrow and they can't find it, then maybe you're underneath that ad, and they'll come to see you sometimes too. It's just whatever pops in their head. Again, brand is important. If they're thinking of an eye exam, they might think of a certain brand. But if you're advertising that too, you can do that. And you kind of got to think, how will patients find you? And you can just see these keywords here. I mean, Oakley, Versace, Purcell, what patients are looking for, and expert eye care. That's and how they think that patients are key searching them as well. Again, content marketing. You want to write intelligent, informative articles on your website about what brings it in. Again, if the new topic is myopia management, you want to write a bunch of that. So when they're searching about myopia management in the state of Rhode Island, your website comes up. Dry eye, if you have Maui Jim sunglasses, whatever the case is. So you want to write that, and then frequently ask questions, because if patients are asking you what a cataract is, that's something that they're going to search on your website too, and they're going to say, hey, I read your article, I was intrigued by it. I think that you're an expert on that topic, and I wanted to come and see you in the area. Website information, content is very powerful. So content marketing, here is something that I did in the community. We talked about, summer and, protecting your eyes against the sun with a local news channel. I took that and then boosted it on Facebook to kind of build my brand recognition or brand reputation, to attract new patients, but also internal marketing. So I capture all my emails from all my patients. I e-blasted that out, and it looks to your patients, hey, my doctor was on TV. So that was kind of a great way to have a conversation, get patients back that we haven't seen in a while, but also build my personal brand as an eye care expert in the state of Rhode Island. The blog article was also posted on my website as well. Now, one of the underutilized channels for a lot of optometrists is LinkedIn, and it's an important tool for gaining a job and gaining, other with doctors or even customers. One of the benefits is you can access over 500 million professional members, and it's not just necessarily searching for jobs and on other boards, but also just connecting with doctors. A lot of recruiters are on LinkedIn. You'll get some information, or you get some messages, about jobs, if that's what you're looking for. It depends what you're looking to do. within that network. It's not your traditional way to work anymore, right? It's LinkedIn is out there now. Say, hey, you seem like a myopia management expert. You seem like a dry eye expert. I'm looking to expand that in my practice. Are you looking to come on board? But it also builds your trust, your personal brand. And also, this also goes back, like we said with the cycle, Google, if you allow your profile to be open, will bring your name out for SEO. So that's another way too, if you're doing that, to kind of get your name out there to Google with LinkedIn. So best face forward with your LinkedIn profile, professional headshot. You want to stay connected. You want to keep building it. You want to make recommendations to other doctors and then endorse them. They'll endorse you back. And then, showcase your skills, like kind of show off what you're doing, how you're different, what your best skills are. And then customize it. Make it look clean, give them a URL, put it on your business card, put it on your resume. Make it your own thing. It's a great way to really build it now. I say it's the new resume. This here is my LinkedIn from a few years ago. It's grown now to about 23,000 connections, but you can just see here the analytics and what I kind of put and things like that. So every little thing that I do, I try to really promote it on here to really build that on my network. It is a great resource for jobs, don't get me wrong. It's a great way that I build my job website, Optometry Careers. I've connected with a lot of doctors that are looking for positions as well. But it's also a great way to kind of search employers and to kind of search for doctors as well, for specialty niche if something you're working with as well. So it's a great resource. And then you want to publish on LinkedIn too. Again, content's important. You want to put in the work and publish on LinkedIn because it gets more value to your connections. The network share your LinkedIn posts, opening larger. So, shareable content. And I've had people connect with me because they've read an article or they like a post, things like that. I recently did a post and we got about 10,000 views on that single post and got a few connections from it as well, from doctors all over the world. And then, you want to publish, content as you as the authority of the topic. You want to, on a certain topic, you want to be the expert. You keep on publishing content on it. So people you kind of brand yourself on that content. And again, that content can go out on Google. So you're also on another, social media or digital marketing platform. So, I mean, it's just, making it, optimizing, making it the good content, keep the title short, eye-catching header images, size up with the competition, see what they're doing, what made them successful, how can you use that to your advantage, express a strong viewpoint. It's okay to be a little controversial because you're going to get people's attention, right? People are like, hey, yeah, I thought of that too, and nobody said anything. So, it's good to do that within social media to a certain extent to really grab people's attention and be memorable. And I want to thank you today for the presentation. And if people have any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Sampalis.
Thank you.
Thank you for a very exciting and engaging presentation. You have covered a very good topic and have given us some wonderful insights that we can take away today. I will now pass you over to Lorcan, who will commence our Q&A session.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Dr. Sampalis. Just want to share some questions we have submitted for our attendees, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
First question you should see there, Dr. Sampalis. Hello, ma'am. I have a question regarding branding. How can we manage branding in a socially distinct society? And that's from Mohammed.
Sure. Thanks for the question. Yeah, I mean, social media is easy, right? Just like the presentation showed. I've done it through social media and had a practice and had young kids at the same time. So it is a great way and easy way to get started is on LinkedIn and Facebook and even Instagram. to kind of just build it. And you kind of, like I said, figure out what you want to do and what you want to be the expert in, and just continue with that content.
That's great. Thank you. Next question is, how should we brand our clinic area and dispensing setup differently so that the patient respects us as an eye expert? That's from Sada.
Excellent question. So when I did my Sampalis eye care website, I did a lot of content on dry eye. At one point before I started the dry eye clinic, now the dry eye clinic, because it's a separate brand to kind of on Google to get it. So I've done that. And really if you have emails within your patients, internal marketing is a great way to kind of do that and explain to your patients as well. The other thing too is you as the doctor, right? So you present the exam and your findings in a clinical manner and explain it. So another lecture that I do is medical model and optometry. And I say, hey, you would recommend AR coding for, glare and computer, why not incorporate that with your cataract patients? Say, hey, you have cataracts. I recommend transition lens to protect your eyes from AMD, also progression of cataracts. So really bring it back to the initial factor of what you're looking to do here. So if you're really looking to build a medical practice, that should be the message out to your patients. That should be in your exam, in your waiting room, a medical model, whatever it is, whether it's pamphlets or videos on your website about that content, and just getting the message out there and just continuing to let your patients know that you've been seeing that is what you're looking to do. So that is, it takes time, but it really starts with the practitioner to really hone it in during the exam.
That's great. Thank you. Just go on to the next question. Question 3, Dr. Sampalis, how is the brand story important to the continuity of the brand itself?
Yeah, so it's very important. Brand story is very important to continue that brand. You got to be consistent with it. Instagram and Facebook are one of the popular ones. I know LinkedIn just started it too, but I think brand stories are much more popular within Instagram for that. So just doing it on a continuous basis is important.
Okay, thank you. Next question, number 4. What would you say is the most valuable skill to improve personal profile?
Yeah, I mean, personal profile or personal brand is reputation. Being consistent, being authentic in your brand, to kind of really build that. If you're looking to build your LinkedIn profile, I think it's really content and promoting the good content out there.
That's great. I just have 2 more questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Second last question is, what is the best way for an introvert or someone who is not into social networks to go about branding?
Sure. One way is if you don't like to do videos and things like that, writing articles on your website is important. You can do that. Or you can kind of go around it with podcasts, and podcasts are no videos, or utilize your staff to really help grow your own brand for someone that is like extrovert. That has been something that a lot of doctors will do. Some doctors don't like to be out there, and that's fine. But kind of use the resources around you to help to do that.
That's great. Thank you. Just the last question that isn't on the screen, Dr. Sampalis, that was submitted by one of our attendees. Do negative reviews affect your Google rankings?
It does. It does. A little bit, but you want to respond to them, right? You're not going to always have everyone love you, and that's okay. It shows that that's authentic. But you want to respond to it and you want to fix it. Sometimes it can just be something simple as, changing, scratch coding or something like that, whatever the issue was with the patient. But, you're not everyone's going to have 100 5-star reviews. You want to try to keep that there, but, as long as you comment on it, it will help a little bit to move it up. Again, even positive and negative, you still want to comment on those reviews. But you want to, every patient you see, you kind of want to recommend, to rate you. I'll say, hey, if you had a good experience here, I tell them, please rate us on Google. It'll help our business grow.
Yeah, and I'd probably agree that can be quite difficult for the introvert practitioner to do, is ask for recommendations.
Have your staff do it.
Yeah, good recommendation. Thank you very much, Dr. Sampalis. I'm just going to pass you back now to Laura after those questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Sampalis. Thank you, Loken. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance today. Your thoughts are very important to us, and we will be sending you an email for you to fill in and submit a short feedback survey to complete the requirement for your certificate and to guide us in future presentation topics. So our next webinar, our next for the Word of Optometry webinar will be on July 31st, and the topic will be about orthokeratology. So be updated and check our social media platforms. I will now bring today's presentation to a close and wish you all a very good day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.